Welcome to Opportunity EDU 301, Opportunity Driven Vision. Hi, I'm Dr. Pam Henderson, CEO and founder of New Edge, and I'll be your host. Previously on Opportunity EDU, we talked about future-proofing your organization. Before I get started today, I have a question for you. Does your growth vision give you clarity on which opportunities to pursue and which to say no to? Most visions are great at painting a picture of the general direction for the company, but lack the clarity to guide choices on which opportunities are right. Today, we'll talk about how to create a growth vision that leverages our understanding of changing conditions that we got from future-proofing and guides our strategy. But first, a scary tale. National Geographic, founded in 1888, had a lofty vision to organize a society for the increase and diffusion of geographical knowledge. The magazine was initially an academic journal sent to the 165 charter members. But in 1897, Alexander Graham Bell became president, and he introduced a new approach to fulfilling the vision. He pioneered photojournalism, which used spectacular color images from around the world to tell stories. By 1926, they attained a circulation of over 1 million. National Geographic owned in the hearts and minds of Americans the role of visual storyteller for the world. But then things changed. Photojournalism evolved from print to television. And in the 1960s, TV shows like Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom and The Undersea World of Jacques Cousteau were new visual storytellers of nature, while National Geographic stuck to print. In the 1980s, the organization had a chance to start a cable channel, but they rejected the idea only to have the group of producers who pitched it turn around and start the Discovery Channel and later the History Channel. 17 years later, National Geographic launched its own cable channel, but it was too little too late. Eventually, they were bought out by Fox, which was later acquired by Disney. Subscriptions fell from a high of over 15 million to 6.5 million.
How did they miss the boat? They mistook their DNA, being the visual storyteller of the world, for their medium, a magazine. Our first principle is that knowing our DNA is critical for paying attention to the right changes in external conditions. If we don't know which changes to focus on, we'll respond to less important trends. National Geographic did just that. They expanded their expeditions, organized tours, and even started selling genographic DNA ancestry kits. They also digitized their content and became the most followed brand on Instagram, but failed to monetize their brand equity. The second principle is that using our DNA to pick the right conditions directs us to the right opportunities. Why? Because the conditions are a key part of that opportunity formula. Our final principle is that when you combine your DNA with the right conditions, you can create a series of growth visions that guide decision making. Let me illustrate with a fairy tale. John Deere came to us in 2007 to build their 20-year growth and innovation vision. They had 4 big businesses: agriculture, construction, forestry, and landscaping. When asked about their DNA, some folks said that their core competency was to bend metal and paint it green. This focus led them to an opportunity with the military, who was buying their highly versatile gators and mounting guns on them. After all, it looked like a good fit, because it simply required they bend metal and paint it black. Several leaders also made it clear that we should not bring up digital. They had recently shut down efforts in a digital and services business and had no appetite for investing further. They felt it was too far from their capabilities and even said, "We're the Dell, let Microsoft build and monetize the software." That all changed, though, with a better look at their DNA. What we found to be true across all of their businesses was that they were successful when their growth efforts were deeply tied to connecting to the land, making their customers' businesses more profitable, and getting the job done. So we asked, how is the land changing? How are customers' businesses changing? And how is the job changing? Changes in the land were all about water, resulting in a new vision about connecting to both land and water. Their customers' businesses were changing due to trends in workforce, training, and both worker and owner experience. The new vision focused on improving profit and user experience. But the real shift happened when we revealed the trends associated with getting the job done. You could hear a pin drop in the Ramada Inn in Bettendorf, Iowa. The future of getting the job done was going to be all about data. And it was at that moment it became clear that for Deere to be relevant in the future, to stay true to their DNA that had made them successful, they would need to be about the job and the job site, extending beyond equipment to data and integration. With these three growth visions, we identified the right opportunities for Deere. Opportunities in water led to irrigation acquisitions. They deepened their relationships with customers by building capabilities in user experience and simplification. And they created the connected farm and worksite of the future, including advances in predictive maintenance, autonomy, and electrification. The military, however, was not a strategic opportunity. It wasn't going to help them stay relevant or move from their DNA to their growth visions. The result? By having a better understanding of who they were at their core DNA and the most important changes in conditions, John Deere transformed themselves from an equipment manufacturer to a leading tech firm. They've gone from 5 software engineers to over 3,000, becoming the largest employer of software engineers outside traditional tech. And they've almost doubled their revenue, going from $24 billion in 2007 to over $42 billion today. Their vision and strategy remained stable through CEO and board changes, and the DNA to North Star Vision playbook that we developed was still on people's desks over a decade later. Back to my original question, do you have a growth vision, a North Star vision, that clearly directs your opportunity choices? Does your organization know the top trends to pay attention to? And is your strategy stable because it links up with who you are and what's coming in the future? In review, to grow, you need to understand your organization's DNA, the trends that will most impact you, and develop a growth vision that informs which opportunities to pursue. Thank you for joining. Please reach out to us at info@new-edge.com to chat about how you can accelerate your growth.